Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a really long time since I've recorded or uploaded anything to YouTube, but I have so much fun information to share with you moving forward. So today's video is going to be all about our move to Ecuador. I'm going to talk about the planning experience, the costs going into planning, as well as the overall experience of moving abroad during a global pandemic. So the biggest question that we received from friends and family when we told them that we were moving to Ecuador was, why Ecuador? The number one reason is affordability. You can afford to live in Ecuador in a very nice location on the beach, as many bedrooms as you want for a fraction of the cost of what you would pay in any major US city. Secondly, we knew we wanted to be in walking distance to an ocean. And we chose Montañita, especially this specific Airbnb, because we are a 10-minute walk from the beach. We can get there anytime that we want. For me, the ocean is my happy place, my calming place. And with me preparing to apply for midwifery school, I really wanted to be someplace where I could find that peace quickly. Additionally, I was really drawn to the sense of community that I found through exploring the African American expats in Ecuador group on Facebook. I loved how folks had an open forum to ask their questions, get all of their questions answered. I really enjoyed reading through their stories of their moves to Ecuador and why they love it here so much. Their families that have either moved down here with them or have come to visit also have really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to find a place where other Black Americans like myself have been able to find their own peace. So we chose Ecuador. So we prepared for this move for a little bit over a month and a half. We knew we wanted to move abroad, but we were originally planning to do so early of next year, 2021. But then COVID kind of threw a wrench in our plans, and we were scrambling to be able to preserve our savings, but also work towards our goals of getting out of the United States. We actually didn't buy our tickets until the last weekend of September, and we moved the first week of November. For any other flight I've ever taken, that is way closer than I ever like to purchase a ticket. To break down the specific costs for you, our tickets were about $350 per person. We also purchased travel insurance, which definitely came in handy when we missed our flight. And we had to fly with our pets, so they were $125 each. I don't know how people fly with children and pets, because I'm choosing one or the other. So all together, cost of travel ended up costing us about $1,270 just for our airline tickets, our bags, our pets, and the travel insurance. Speaking of pets, these hoes were not cheap. With the cost of the appointments for our pets and the cost of their vaccinations, that ended up to be around $370. They had 3 appointments over the course of 30 days for their vaccines, their boosters, and just a physical health checkup that has to be valid within 10 days of travel. Back to the human stuff. We really wanted to go to a place that had COVID restrictions in terms of who could enter. We weren't just trying to go to anywhere that's just letting any old body in. Ecuador has a requirement that you have to have a negative PCR test taken within 10 days of your travel. So we got a prescription from our doctor to go to Jefferson Hospital for the drive-through nose swab test. It was pain-free, it was cost-free, and the results came back to us within the next 24 hours. We decided to rent an Airbnb in the town of Montañita. We were able to get a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house for $300 a month. That's like $10 a day. So our Airbnb host actually was able to organize private transport for us and our bags and our animals for $100 for a 3-hour ride. I told y'all it was cheap. Uber could never. Also, the last cost for travel was our rental car. We wanted to be able to pick up a car in Philly and drop it off at the airport in New York. If you have T-Mobile, they do something called T-Mobile Tuesdays, where there's a weekly coupon for 40% off of a car rental, and you can use it whenever you want. So go check that out, because it was able to save us some money with this additional expense. So let's get into the actual traveling experience.
We traveling.
So we picked up our rental car the day before our flights at Philadelphia International Airport. We were like, yeah, we got this. Let's get the rental car the day before, save ourselves some time. We'll get there super early, be on top of it.
Girl, you played yourself.
As we were splitting off into our errands the morning of our flight, we were going to drop our car off at my mom's house. And our car ended up breaking down on the side of the highway. So then I had to drive an hour to pick up my husband from where he was. And by that time, we were now running late. So on the way to JFK, I had to call my dad to ask him to help with towing the car to my mom's house and getting that all worked out for me. So we rushed to the airport as fast as we could until we got to New York.
Why?
I don't know why I didn't think New York. Traffic. Once we got to New York, the traffic was bad. We ended up sitting in traffic for a good hour and 20 minutes. So things were not looking too hot. Then we had to find the rental car place. I had never actually driven around JFK. I'd only been dropped off there. So navigating the roads there were very confusing for me. We rushed to try to get out of the rental car, get our bags, get the carts, get the animals. Bags are falling. We're throwing stuff away. We need to go to the bathroom. We don't know what's going on, but we're just determined to get to our terminal to make our flight. Once we get to the JetBlue terminal, it's packed. So we go to the kiosk thinking that we can print off our check bag tags. The kiosk tells us that it's too late. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to fly out of the country, to fly anywhere, but to fly out of the country for good on a Thursday. My travel folks, y'all already know, Thursday is the worst day to travel. The airports are always going to be packed. So a woman told us we had to wait in line, not to get on our flight, but to schedule a new ticket. There were a good 20 people ahead of us in line, a lot of which had their masks below their nose or not even on. I thought people were supposed to be regulating that, but they're not. So we ended up waiting in line for like 45 minutes. Luckily, once we got to the front, we were able to exchange our tickets free of charge for the next flight outgoing the following day. I felt a little defeated, but also slightly relieved because we had been on go nonstop since 7 o'clock that morning. And it was now like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So after we got our next flight booked, we were able to find a hotel, again through T-Mobile Travel, which was 5 minutes from the airport. They accepted pets. So we ended up going there. That cost us about $150 with the pet deposit. We stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn at JFK Airport. The next day, everything went pretty smoothly. I was a little nervous about being in the airport with people on their domestic flights, but as far as being in the airplane, knowing that everybody had to have their negative PCR test, I was able to relax a little bit.
I didn't take my mask off, relax.
But I was able to calm my nerves. I really appreciated the fact that JetBlue was boarding their flights back to front and they were unboarding front to back. So we were sitting the second to the last row, so we actually got to get on the flight first, and then we had to wait to get off the plane last, which I don't mind because this just keeps people from coming in contact with one another. We landed at about 9:15 p.m. and once we went into the airport, we were told to go to the first person to take our temperature. Then we had to walk a little bit further and there was a man standing at the top of the ramp who handed us a ticket. They told us to have a seat and we didn't really know what was next. After everybody had had a seat, they escorted everyone to the next room, which is where there were people in hazmat suits checking to make sure that everybody had their negative PCR results. They did have a line for folks that needed to print their results just in case you only had it on your phone. Luckily, we had printed ours, so we didn't have to wait in an additional line. After we showed them the negative PCR results, we were able to go through customs. The good thing about waiting in that long line for the COVID results was customs was pretty clear. We got through no problem. Picking up our bags was a little bit hectic. I don't know why, but they had cleared the belt. So when we finally got to baggage claim, our bags were on the floor. Shout out to TSA for going through my bag and spilling almost an entire bottle of method cleaner. Then we had one more clearance, which was just for someone to make sure that our animals had all of their proper paperwork. Then we were free to go. Overall, our personal experience was pretty good. I think the good definitely outweighs the bad. There were certainly road bumps. There was a lot of planning and errand running and just making sure that we had all of our ducks in a row before we got here, but it's not a small task moving to another continent. Make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to my channel, you share it, you comment, do all of that good stuff. And let me know if you guys have any more questions about our move to Ecuador, the cost that we had to spend, the budgeting leading up to it. And if you're interested in leaving the United States, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you with coming up with a plan, answer all of your questions in terms of the research that we did, and what worked for us and what didn't work.